Hey everybody, I've been wanting to tell you all about where I am spiritually for such a long time. I know I made a video about me coming out of the spiritual closet, but I think people are still confused and they still think that I ascribe to certain religions and certain doctrines and movements, even though I clearly said that I don't. So I just want to take some time out of my busy schedule and really just sit down and be real with y'all with where I am, and just take everything that I'm gonna say with a grain of salt, because this is my journey and I want to speak to those who are truth seekers as well. I am no longer speaking to those who are skeptical, who are doubtful, who choose to stay boxed into a very small space that they were placed in by those who are also in very tight, small spaces mentally. And that is not to say that those people are stupid or less than or dumb, but they are held back by religion. In fact, the word religion, its etymology is rooted in the word religare or relegar in Latin, which means to hold back, to tie, to yoke, or to bind, So basically, religion literally means to hold back oneself. And what does religion do? It holds us back from really questioning real things, like questioning why we believe certain things, why we worship and bow down to certain things and reject other things. And we don't have this space or the freedom or the comfortability to even question something out loud. And I know that there are a lot of people out there questioning, and I'm not afraid to just say it how it is. You feel me? Because I know that I come from a place of not knowing a lot of things. I will be the first one to tell you that I don't know everything. And I think it is a very humbling place to be, where you start to realize that the foundation that you once had your sturdy faith built upon is actually not that sturdy at all when you look at facts. And considering that I'm a highly logical person, so left brain, very analytical, I am also very right brain, very emotional, very creative, very idealistic, very abstract. And so I have literally been kind of teeter-tottering between these two modes when it comes to deconstructing my faith and really questioning and challenging the institutions of religion. And so don't fall asleep. I know I might be saying a lot of big words, but you who are watching, just stay with me, okay? Because I just want to be straight up and real with y'all with where I am, because I'm not about to be out here in these streets, aka the internet, pretending to be something that I'm not, or to even have people box me in into thinking that I belong to a certain group or religion or movement when I am not. And I know a lot of people on here, they want me to talk about something that will make them feel good, because honestly, that's why people follow religion, because it makes them feel good. And so a lot of us go based on feelings over facts. And it's a very dangerous place to be, because a lot of the feelings or convictions that we have to preach something ends up hurting a lot of people. And I am a product of that. And in many ways, I know for a fact that I've hurt people deeply, because I've preached the Bible in so many different ways where I thought it was helping. I really, truly thought that I was helping people be set free and delivered from whatever. But the truth is, if anyone is following a religion, whether they like it or not, they're being held back. And that's why you have so many people out there saying, oh, I'm not in a religion, I'm in a relationship. And I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. But at the end of the day, if you follow a doctrine written by men, which are all these literature books, these books of literature, then you must really be in a place of humility right now to possibly think that you might be wrong, and that is okay. And don't take it so personally, because think about it. A lot of us were given these beliefs straight out the womb. You feel me? We didn't have the autonomy or the agency or even the intrinsic motivation to question the things that we were handed. Some of us were forced to believe a lot of things, especially indigenous people. They've had doctrines come from different people and pushed on them to the point where they start to think that their indigenous culture is demonic, because this group of missionaries went to their country and in their continent or their place and convinced them that the way that they connect to source is evil. And this has really got to stop, because if this book is supposed to, and these books, all these books are supposed to unite people, why are they doing the exact opposite in real life? Like, we really have to wake up and start looking at what is happening in front of us and not going purely based on what we imagine or what it's supposed to be like. Look at reality. And so I am going to share right now, like, my journey in a nutshell and where I am today. So from 1996, when I was born, to 2015, I was Christian. I agreed to be Christian because I didn't think that there was any other way, because that's what my parents taught me, because that's what their parents taught them, and that's what their parents taught them, who also had parents who taught them, but they were forced into slavery through the promise of a heaven if they endured hell on earth through slavery. And it's just really messed up when you look at history, at this slow genocide that has occurred over centuries because of doctrine. And so many families are being torn apart still because of disagreements over the interpretation of a book that was written by people who we don't even know. And it's just like, yo, what is happening? Like, yo. So anyway, 1996 to 2015, I agreed to being Christian. And, up until 2017, I was like very, very adamant about spreading the gospel and the Christian gospel and seeing people's lives transform. So I was all in, like the whole hot, cold, lukewarm situation. Like, I was all in. I committed my life to going out on the streets, traveling to different countries like Guatemala. I've even stayed in the United States, gone to Hawaii, and trained to learn how to share the gospel with different people. So I made it my mission to see everybody around me transformed by the power of who I call, who the world calls Jesus. And I believed that I was going to be a Christian preacher, point blank period, because I understood the Bible, so I thought. And I had this gift of prophecy and words of knowledge and stuff like that, where I can go up to people and I can say something about their life that is true, that I don't even know them. And it's because, now I know it's because I've been tapped in, and because I'm not Christian, and I still have that gift, So then summer of 2016, even though I was like still Christian, I got a call from my brother saying that we were Hebrew Israelites from the Bible. So in the Old Testament, like, we're the children of Israel that were actually cursed by God because we broke his commandments, because Christianity was given to us. And, they changed the race of Jesus to trick us or something. And then for the next few years, I preached that. And my numbers on social media fluctuated. Like, at one point, I lost like half of my followers on Instagram. But then overnight, I gained like thousands of followers. And it was just very back and forth. It was very unhealthy as well, because like, I felt like I was in a tug of war of like, these people wanted me to preach the New Testament, and they wanted me to say that the law was done away with and Jesus is the only way. But then these people were saying, oh, you can't say Jesus. It's actually Yeshua or Yahushua or Yahushua, all these different names. And he's a dark man and he's black and he's one of us. And then after that, in 2019, I got to a point where I started to question more, because I'm like, if we were lied to about our identity of who, you know, who we are, if we were lied to about like Jesus's race and name, then what else could be untrue? What else could we have been fooled into believing that is actually not legit? And I really closed everybody out. My father's a preacher. I didn't ask him these questions. I didn't go to my brother, who is someone who is really into the Hebrew Israelite movement. I closed off the Christian world and the Hebrew Israelite world, and it was just me and Source, or who I called the Most High, or Yah, or Yahuwah, Yahweh, whatever you want to say. And, you know, I was just like crying out for months, like, is Jesus real? And if he is, like, let me know. If he isn't, let me know. Like, I was okay with any answer. And from that conversation, over those months, my eyes began to be open to the many contradictions that I saw between the Old Testament and the New Testament, as well as the nuances. But the contradictions were so like obvious that I'm like, yo, why didn't I see this before? But it's because my mind was held back from questioning, right? Because of religion, to hold back, to bind, to tie, to yoke. My mind was enslaved. And I made a lot of these videos about the contradictions that I saw, and they're still up there on my YouTube. And so I was someone called Yah only, or God only, or the Old Testament God only. And I was following the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High seriously. And if it wasn't in that Bible, if it wasn't in that Testament, like you couldn't tell me anything otherwise. I was so committed to that. And to the point where there's been, breaches that have been created between people who I love. Even still today, like, I lost all my best friends at the time, and severed all my connections with people because they thought that I was crazy, or they didn't believe what I believed. And it's really sad that people who believe in the same book can't even get along because they have different interpretations. So really start to question, why are there 33,000 different denominations just in Christianity alone? So I'm not even talking about any other religion or any other way of life, any other interpretation or walk of life. Just Christianity alone has 33,000, more or less, different denominations, different ways of seeing this text. And it's dividing people. It's dividing close friends and family. And it's really sad. But then in 2020, in April, I started to see all these different numbers called synchronicities. There are many different synchronicities, which means like things connect and there's no such things as coincidences. But I'm not going to dig deep into that. But that really spoke to me, because I'm like, yo, why am I being guided and led to see certain things and they're like accurate, like right on point? And a lot of people will be like, oh, like numbers, that's demonic. Everything is demonic to people who read the Bible sometimes. And it's like, how? Like, does the Bible say that numbers are demonic? No, because the Bible is a book of numerology as well. And people don't see that. And I could talk about the significance of a couple of numbers later. But I was like, yo, I feel very connected, even though I'm not attached to any doctrine right now. And I enrolled myself into this graduate level Hebrew course that I was invited to, actually. But I like enrolled, like I was there. And it was amazing, like wonderful people, sweetest people. They really dug deep and showed me how to read in ancient Hebrew. And I didn't stay for long because I will get to why. But, you know, they're amazing people and they're truth seekers. And if they're watching this, I really commend you. And I encourage you to keep digging, keep digging, keep digging. There's always more. And yeah, but yo, before ancient Hebrew, what was there? Hieroglyphics. So ancient Hebrew or Paleo Hebrew or Phoenician comes from Egypt. Hieroglyphics, right? Egyptian hieroglyphics. So it's like a lot of the things I started to realize is that there are so many things that came before the Bible that the Bible just then incorporates in the text. So the Bible, or the Holy Bible, also known as Helios, Biblios, which is the Sun book or Holy book or the SUN book, the Book of the Sun, is a collection of stories and myths. You don't want to hear it, but if you do your research, you can find this out easily. I don't know why. Okay. Anyway, it's a book. It's a fabrication of many different cultures that came before it, especially like Egyptian teachings, and then it's just like reiterated with different names on it, both Old and New Testaments. And it was kind of unsettling at first, and I stayed calm and I kept going, even though it's like really hard. And so this group talked about something called the Enuma Elish, which is the Babylonian creation story. So if you read Genesis chapter 1 and Genesis chapter 2, you can see that there are two different creation stories. Like there are different gods creating the earth. One, Genesis 1 is about a god and gods, plural, that are creating from this place of chaos and darkness and void and confusion and disorder. But yet, I thought we served a God of order and who made like the commandments, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just very interesting. Like, let us make man in our image. All comes from that Babylonian creation story where multiple gods were creating in this dome, like this flat earth dome. That's why the Bible is a flat earth book, but it comes from Babylonian teachings that predated the Bible. And then you have Adam or Atum, Atum, and Atom goes to Adam. So Adam and Eve are metaphors of the genesis of the earth. So the genesis of humankind, the start of humankind. So think about this. Ready? Eve, which stands for the mitochondria Eve gene, which says that there is an African woman that they just named Eve, or the African woman has the ability to create every single pigmentation just from her genes. White people can't have black babies. Like if two white people get married, they can't have black babies or anything darker. They're just gonna have more white babies. But if you even have a black woman with a white man, you can get like any kind of skin color and with any, you know what I'm saying? So like they're saying that the Bible is saying that all nations come from Eve, and that's true. So like the Bible, I'm not saying that it's all a lie. It has ancient truths that come before it, and then they add myths in it. Yeah. So Atom comes from Eve. Everything comes from Eve. So instead of like Eve being taken out or Eve being made from Adam's rib, like how the Bible says, the womb, everything comes from the womb, right? So how do you think the man, I'm not going to get into that right now, but anyway, so that whole thing. Then the third thing that I noticed is that the Epic of Gilgamesh, it was written 1,000 years before Noah's Ark, but it's the same story. It's a Mesopotamian tale that comes before the Bible. And yet no one can find like direct archaeological evidence for Noah existing or any of these people. They don't have direct archaeological evidence. Like there's no tomb sites or burial sites or any like hardcore evidence that has been left behind of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, Mary, Jesus, any of these people. Moses, before Moses, the name was Meses, and before Meses, the name was Manu, and they're all lawgivers who free people. And, before the Bible. And then speaking of Moses, you have the 10 Commandments, right? Well, the 10 Commandments actually come from the 42 laws of Ma'at, of Egypt, of ancient Kemet. For instance, so I wrote these down actually. I'll just give you 4 examples because I just want to save time and not make this video too long. I understand that people's attention spans are really short because of the technology that we have. Yeah. So, number 3, the law of Ma'at. Number 3, I have not stolen. The Bible changed that to thou shalt not steal, which is the 8th commandment. Law of Ma'at, number 4, I have not slain, is actually thou shalt not kill, which is the 6th commandment. 12 of Ma'at, I have not committed adultery, but the 7th commandment in the Bible is thou shalt not commit adultery. And then another example is the 19th law of Ma'at. I have not falsely accused anyone, which is the 9th commandment. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. So if these laws of Ma'at, who came before all of this, like 2,000 years before the Old Testament was written, these laws were already there. So then I'm like, okay, so if I'm following the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, but they're actually the laws of Ma'at, which come from Egypt, but the Bible demonizes Egypt and also says that the Israelites or the Most High destroyed Egypt. How come when you look at history, Kemet in Egypt has some of the strongest trail of evidence? But yet Israelites, these people who were supposedly enslaved by all nations of the earth, there's no direct archaeological evidence. And on top of that, if you study ancient Egyptian history, you learn that Egyptians didn't even enslave people. They had servants, but they weren't a type of people who would literally own people, enslave them, and harm them like that. Those were Arabs who did that, and Persians who did that, and Greeks and Romans who did that, not Egyptians. So it's like, okay, so now not only do we believe that Egyptians are demonic and we demonize astrology, but the Bible is a book of astrotheology. I mentioned that in a video before, but it's like, wow. But yet we have no direct archaeological evidence of us being Israelites. So people could be like, oh yeah, the 12 tribes, like we're the 12 tribes of Israel, which I believed wholeheartedly for 4 years. And no one, but then if you actually look into history, where is the evidence? Outside of the literature of the Bible, so what is written on the pages of the Bible, what hardcore evidence is there that actually says that Israelites existed? I'm talking about outside of the Bible. Where are all the facts? Oh, they're in the Vatican. The Pope has them. The Vatican, Rome has them, okay? But before Rome, there was Egypt. And Egypt has no records of enslaving a people called Israelites or Hebrews. On Instagram, there's a bunch of like accounts that have like these pictures of melanated people who look like they're serving, right? On hieroglyphics. And people automatically are like, oh, those are Israelites. Those are our ancestors. But do you know the date of that? Of that? Because everything that happened in Egypt and stuff, like Egyptian civilization, came before the Bible. The Bible's not an old book. Not as old as you think. Not as old as any of these other civilizations who have hardcore facts which the Bible authors borrowed from there, One half of the Bible, well, it's not even a half. 80% of the Bible is written in Hebrew and Aramaic, but then the other 20% is originally written in Koine Greek. And they're both translated into English, but the New Testament authors, there's like such weak accounts for them because the only accounts that they have are Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the whitest names ever. And then even with them, you read it and they can't even agree with Jesus's last words. This person that they love and that they worship and that they saw with their own eyes, they can't even agree on a lot of the things in there. And also the earliest accounts and records of the New Testament, they were written years and years and years and years and years after Jesus died, supposedly, right? So it's a lot. And speaking of that, of Jesus dying, this is where the numbers really stick out. So in numerology, right? Look at the significance of this. Jesus died at the age of 33, right? There are 33 vertebrae in our spine that lead up to the cranium or the the dome of heaven, like our minds, and that's where we become conscious. And Jesus is a symbol of consciousness, and it might sound like really out there, but if you stop taking everything so literally and look at what this text is saying, it's actually a very powerful book, and it is true to a certain extent, but with characters that never existed. Yeah. So 33, Jesus died at the age of 33. There's 33 vertebrae. In the Old Testament, Jacob's ladder was 33, right? To get to heaven, that is all symbolic, yo. And 33 also is the number of the masons. And Jesus was a carpenter, also known as a mason. He was actually a mason. 12 tribes, 12 disciples, 12 zodiac signs. Jesus is the sun, God, S-U-N, the symbolic interpretation of the sun, not the S-O-N of God, the S-U-N. And so the 12 disciples represent the 12 zodiac signs. And I'll just give you one example. For instance, I'll give you two. Virgo, Virgin, Mary, okay? Look at the symbol. Go and do your research, please. And then Judas betrayed Jesus, right? With a kiss. Scorpio is the sign, which is like what happened like during the Bible, during that time of the Bible. When Judas betrayed Jesus, it was under the sign of Scorpio, and Judas represents Scorpio, and that's why the zodiac sign of Scorpio is like that, you know, it's a little stinger, right? Because Judas is the backbiter. He's the betrayer. Not saying that Scorpios they betray people, but it's just all symbolic in the Bible. And on top of that, y'all, if you really think about it, Jesus didn't lie, because he said that he will be with us to the very end of the age, right? What age? So in astrology, there are ages where the sun is in a certain astrological sign. And Jesus represented the age of Pisces. Pisces is symbolized by a fish, right? And there's many different allusions to this symbol. But when people drive around their cars and stuff and they want to show the world that they're Christian, what do they have on the back of their car? They have a fish. The fish represents the age of Pisces. And Jesus was telling his disciples that there will be like a man with a pitcher of water, and to like, you know, pay attention to that. And that man that we're supposed to be following after him or paying attention to is the water bearer. The man who has the pitcher is the water bearer in the zodiac signs, which is the age of Aquarius. So when Jesus says, I'll be with you to the very end of the age of Pisces, he was right. And the age of Pisces is all about religion and believing in structures and systems. And the age of Aquarius, which is brought in through the water bearer, which is after Pisces in astrology. The age of Aquarius is all about knowledge. It's all about knowing and higher wisdom and coming from believing to knowing like real things. And that's why so many people are questioning systems and things are breaking down right now and are being deconstructed, is because we have entered into the age of Aquarius and the energy is different right now. And it's true. Like, people are becoming enlightened. People are starting to really embody like this, like Jesus consciousness, I guess you could say, because people are realizing that we are divine. We are divine beings having a temporary human experience. And that's why religion, like whatever people believe is true for them, point blank, period. Because whatever we pay attention to is where we put our energy. And our energy expands something to the point where that becomes our reality. So that is why what you believe is true. That's why it works. So it doesn't matter if someone over here in this Black Christian church is laying hands on somebody and they're falling out, catching the Holy Ghost, and they feel heat and electricity and they're being healed, because that's real. No more than what people who are doing Reiki healing, which means the laying on of hands. It's Japanese, and these people are getting the same exact experiences of falling out and feeling this fire and electricity, and they're being healed because it's all energy, and people are worshiping literally the same energetic source without even knowing it, because religion has taught us to label these things, label something that's not supposed to even be labeled. And these labels have divided us into so many different stratifications to the point where we can't even connect with people who are 99% similar to us, DNA-wise. And it's really sad. It is really sad. It's really heartbreaking to see people be turned against one another. And personally, I have not been persecuted by anybody else other than people who follow the Bible, or they read it, I guess, but they stand for it, you know? And I'm healing spiritual wounds right now, or religious wounds with spirituality. And I just really, 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 really encourage you all to just look up and look at reality. We need to start questioning and continuing to love ourselves and to dig deeper into what everything means. And excuse me, I keep burping because it's like a part of this like human experience thing. But yeah, like look back at the things that we've agreed to just because someone who loves us told us that they were true. And then we believe those things and they become true because we have these emotional experiences, and that's that. I take it from my experiences. I have been Christian full out, have called the name of Jesus, and have had amazing experiences. Then I was Jewish or, Messianic Jew, and would call in the name of Yeshua and still have these experiences. Then I would call on Yah and none of those other names, and Yahuwah and Yahweh and the Most High, and I would still have these experiences. So it's either all of these are right, or there's something bigger that's happening behind the scenes that we have not been paying attention to because our minds have been held back by religious ties. And now I'm not in religion at all, and I am having like so many amazing experiences that are truly freeing and are truly healing. And it's sad that if I come on here and I explain some of the things that I've experienced, people who haven't experienced them are quick to be like, oh, that's demonic, yet with no scripture to back it up. It's because of an indoctrination. And those who think that astrology and all these things are demonic, the Bible is a book of astrology. And it's not your fault. It's not my fault. No one is right now, no one is to blame. But once you are conscious of it, you might as well start telling people, because it's this time to connect. We need this time to connect and unite with people. There's a lot of division. People think that they're better than other people. I've been there, I've done that, and it's not the way. The way is love. That is the truth. The truth is that we are all connected. The truth is that we are all divine and that we are a part of Source. Everything that is living is a part of Source. And there's nothing wrong with that. And it's sad to see that like someone like me who is so strongly connected to the spiritual realm, who just really wants to truly see people healed and set free, have now become the enemy. So I used to think that, oh, it's Bible believers versus all, but really Bible believers are the ones who are like persecuting everybody else, and it's backwards. So please, guys and ladies, just continue to dig deep. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. I'm not going to get into any religious fights with anybody else. I do not give my energy, which is my attention, to anything negative like that anymore. If you come in the right spirit, and if you truly want to know what's up or something that I think about something else, I'll let you know. Again, I don't know everything, but that is a great start because I'm humbled by this experience. I don't regret anything that I've been through, And I'm excited. I'm excited for what is ahead of me, because I'm only 24, newly 24, and I am not afraid of anything. I know the construct of hell was made up by ancient myths to scare people, and that there's no such place. And now I know that you can create heaven on earth by what you give your energy to. And I'm very excited. And yeah, I just wanted to let y'all know, because y'all family, you feel me? You've been here on this journey. And shout out to those who stuck to the end of this. You are the real champions. You are the heroes. And I just want to send so much love and peace to you. I truly, 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 truly hope for the best for you on your journey. And it's nothing but love coming your way. All right, good night. It's like 4 a.m. almost here, but this is the only time that I was motivated to do this. So, yay. Love you. Bye. See you.